Hi, I'm Bruce McIntyre.
I'm Hazel McIntyre.
I'm a real estate agent here in New York City and also DJ.
And I am a bilingual school social worker for the New York City Department of Education. I usually let Bruce tell the story of how we met because there's always a different version of it.
I'm not going to say she was asking for change outside the liquor store because I have used that.
I followed my brother's car and I get pulled over. It had a broken taillight.
I was teaching third grade and working at AutoZone part-time.
I walked in, there was no one in the store.
Me and the guys was in the back watching the game. I come out to get a drink and voila, there she is. She's standing there.
He gives me his number. I didn't take it. I gave it back to him. And instead I said, listen, if you're really serious about talking to me, here's my number. You can give me a call. You called me 3 times before you got out of work that day.
I had breaks. Nobody was in the store. I was bored. The game was over. We did click. We did become good friends, and I have been fixing her taillight ever since.
So dumb. We have 3 children. We have 1 boy, 2 girls. Kaylani is our oldest. He's 17. Saira is our middle child. She's 15. And Sanaya is 14, our youngest daughter. So we will have 3 college-age children in 4 years. With college coming up for all of the kids, we thought we were planning, but obviously we didn't plan well enough.
Right.
Having an expert to talk to about money and give us advice, I think I'm really excited about it. Like, I'm willing to make the sacrifices. I don't know about you.
I'm willing to make small sacrifices.
I'm Marco Aguilar.
I am Cheyenne Aguilar.
And we live in West Toluca Lake, California. I work for a third-party QC production company.
They quality check everything before it hits your TV. Mm-hmm. I am a writer and actor, and I also stay at home and raise the boys. Thunder is 3, and Ari is 8, and they have very distinct personalities, and they're very independent. Children are challenging, right? They're amazing, but yeah, it's a whole new game, and we work really well as a team, but it's always a work in progress, right? We did not come into the relationship with any debt.
We were basically debt-free ever since we known each other.
Going through college, we were working full-time, and so anytime there was a tuition or whatever due, we just paid it off. We didn't graduate with what many others do with this debt, and you're like feeling like you got to hustle and get that job to pay off the debt.
It never occurred to me to ask for a loan. I just never wanted to owe money to the bank.
Marco is the bread earner here because I'm home with the boys. He takes care of us.
We're doing pretty good. I have invested quite a bit of money this year in the stock market. I got the coronavirus in February, and I took that time to open the laptop and just watched a bunch of videos on how to become an investor, and read a bunch of stuff online as well. My mom got COVID through my older brother, and she passed away in February. His friend told him, you should probably go check yourself because I think I have it. 3 days later, everyone at the house had been already infected. The friend that gave it to him just passed away 2 weeks ago.
We have a lot of goals. Definitely a house. We're ready and we have children, so we need that yard and we would like the space. We didn't come from families that had a lot of money, and so that's a good motivator, right? You want to leave behind a legacy. You want to make life easier. You want your kids to be able to go to school and have a normal college education. We've never sat down with a financial advisor. I think to some degree because I worked in finance and we were pretty good with our income.
We are in a really good spot right now, so getting some new information that's going to potentially help us to get where we want to go. Faster, I would say, then sure. Absolutely.
How are you feeling about working with an advisor today?
A little excited.
You're excited?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm excited that you're excited.
Yes.
I thought you'd be a little reserved.
No, I'm excited because I'm telling everything.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Nice to see you. Hi.
Nice to meet you. So I'm Adrian Yamaki. I'm a financial advisor. I'm a CFP. I've been doing this work for 18 years now. So my dad was a public high school teacher. My mom stayed home. And when they got a divorce, I saw how hard it was for both of them financially. And it really struck me. So one of the first things I did when I was a teenager was buy a book. It was called The Money Book. It was a Consumer Reports book. I bought it through the mail and I said, I am always going to be financially independent. When I graduated from college, I started working at Merrill Lynch and I realized, there's a job. There are actually people who do this, not just obsessively, but there are people who help other people be financially free. And I love my work. So I know one of the things is that college is one of the main goals you guys have for the kids and financially. So tell me more about the kids.
We have a 17-year-old son, a 15-year-old daughter, and our youngest just turned 14.
That's awesome. I have 3 kids too. I feel like 3 kids is perfect. It's just enough to be like a big family.
Yes. Having 3 teenagers right now is, I would say, a roller coaster ride. Kehlani is going to be a senior this year, so we're hoping that he will pick a school that has offered him a good scholarship package for football and academics. He's already received 1 offer. Sanaya has it in her mind that she's going to get a full ride academically. She is definitely a very bright and committed student. She knows she wants to go to Ivy League. She wants to be a lawyer. Like, she has her plan set. And then Saira, our middle child, she's kind of more laid back. She does want to go to college. She does want to go away. She wants to get away from us. So we know she wants to do that. That's in her plans. I've told them since they were younger that I never had the intention of paying their full tuition. That wasn't a possibility in terms of savings. And for them, they can decide, like, am I going to get a merit scholarship? Am I going to get an athletic scholarship? What am I going to do to be able to kind of foot the bill for the rest of it? Ideally, I wouldn't want them to have loans because I know what it is to have loans. But get them to really feel what it is, to experience real life, but with a bit of a cushion if possible.
Yep. And tell me more about the 529s. I love that Haizel's a planner. So you set up 529s, all 3 kids have them.
Yes.
That's great. And
Yes.
You get a New York State tax deduction, so that's awesome. How did you figure out how to set up the 529 and fund it? Walk me a little bit through kind of up to this point, how you've managed your finances.
It really has been kind of the school of the hard knocks. Like I've learned as I've gone through. What shaped my financial habits was really not having any money and not having any financial literacy. Like, I didn't know or understand what any of it meant. Not having it made me want it, and wanting it made me want to learn how to get it and keep it. I'm first generation American. I'm the first one to go to college. So after I got there, just talking to some of my friends and hearing some of their stories, like what kind of grants they received, how they were able to pay for college if they have financial aid, all those conversations, I took notes, because even then I was thinking, if I have kids, I don't want them to go through what I went through.
Yeah.
And eventually, we had our son, and I think he was 2 years old when I first started his college savings plan.
How much is in it now? And what percentage of college do you have saved already?
I would say that I'm not happy with how much I've contributed to their college savings plan. I wish I had done more. Now that we're closer, it's like, oh, this is not gonna hack it.
Some advisors are more like estate planning and others are savvy with the market and stuff. And so I'm wondering what he'll say about all our investing. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah.
Well, my name is Jerel Butler. I'm a certified financial planner. I own Millennial Financial Solutions, which is a virtual-based financial planning firm with a specialization on millennials and entrepreneurs.
Oh, cool.
I'm very, very excited to meet with you guys.
Likewise.
So we definitely have goals, short-term and long-term goals. We both have Roths, and he has a 401k, and we have 2 boys and, 529 plans. And then we have our retirement plans. And then we're also looking to save for a house. And so we have just regular brokerage accounts. And so there's a lot going on, and just direction and guidance would be helpful.
Right now, we're debt-free with credit cards. I just started investing this year. I ended up getting coronavirus through my younger brother because I needed to find him a place to live. So I experienced that. It was terrible. But during the 2.5 weeks that I had, the virus, that's when I actually started, getting online, watching a bunch of videos of people talking about the market, how it works, what investments you should be considering right now.
You guys mentioned that you're debt-free, which is awesome, right? Because most in our age bracket, they have some type of consumer debt. Half of the battle, you guys are already doing well in. Do you guys currently feel like you have a healthy savings account?
No.
No, I think we have been investing too heavily in the market.
Yeah.
We actually saw online that if you don't have emergency savings and you're investing in the market, you are doing a disservice to yourself, because in the event that anything happens, there's nothing there because everything's in the market.
And then you have to pull it at a bad time.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
So thank you for reminding us.
A good rule of thumb is to have 3 months of your monthly expenses in an emergency savings account. Now, this emergency savings account can be in what's called a high yield savings account.
Hi, I'm Julien Saunders.
And I'm Kiersten Saunders, and today we're going to talk about high yield savings accounts. Now, yield is one of those fancy smancy finance terms that I don't think people understand a lot of.
Yeah, I always think about food whenever I hear the term yield, or I'm thinking about the road sign.
Yeah. Let's stick to the food example.
Okay.
In cooking, yield is typically used in recipes so that you have an expectation about how much that recipe is going to net you. So if you're making cookies, you might use a recipe and it says it yields 24 cookies, and you know to expect about that when you're done.
Sometimes with the steak, you can have, let's say, a 12-ounce ribeye, but when you're done cooking it, you'll yield about 8 to 10 ounces of meat. Or spinach, which is notorious for having a low yield. You go to the store, you get this giant bag of spinach, you cook it, and then you yield like a really tiny amount. Doesn't matter. Doesn't make it any less delicious or useful. When we're talking about things like a savings account, typically a savings account is going to yield or have an interest rate of about 1%. Of course, it varies from bank to bank, but the number is pretty low. Now, a high yield savings account naturally is going to have a higher interest rate. So you may see 2%, or in some cases, you may even see upwards of 3% or somewhere in between. You may also run into a situation where you're lured in by higher interest rates, and then that is adjusted over time or over a trial period. It happens, it's completely normal, and that's sort of part of the business. But that doesn't mean that having a high yield savings account isn't really, really important.
Yeah. One of the reasons that banks are able to give you a higher interest rate or offer a high yield savings account is because they've saved money in other ways. So there may be features that you're used to at your traditional bank that aren't readily available through your high yield savings account.
I prefer a lot of the online banks because they don't have the overhead of a brick and mortar bank, so they're able to pass on a lot of those savings.
When I think about high yield savings account and its functional purpose, really brings me back to some of the standard tried and true rules of personal finance, which is having an emergency fund for when something happens, not if, when something happens.
You guys are still working on one income, right?
Yes.
So with the one income family, ideally you want to be around 5 to 6 months of emergency savings. You know, obviously that's a lot of money to say, hey, based on our monthly expenses, we need to just kind of have this money on the side. But
typically, a high yield savings account is where you want to park that money. That way you have easy access to it. You're not necessarily holding it in cash because it is earning interest over time, but it's there for when you need it so that if something happens, you don't have to worry about putting some of those charges on credit. That's why we saved up that money, and that's why a high yield savings account is so, so important.
At least try to get to that 3-month emergency savings.
Right. Yeah.
I think everyone knows that, but to hear it, especially if you're saying, I want to reach these goals, this and that, and they're saying, well, then you need to do this, this and that. You're like, that's right. I do need to do that.
Bruce, tell me a bit more about how you approach the earning and saving and spending.
If you want it, get it. That's it. One thing my dad used to say is, you can't take any of it with you. So enjoy it now while you can. And I kind of grew up with that, which is why I like to shop.
A lot.
So, do you want to work forever? Some people do.
Honestly, I think I do.
Do you have any money worries or money concerns? Is there anything you do worry about financially?
I worry about things financially all the time.
Okay.
That's one of my biggest worries. When I don't have the means to get what I want or need, or being able to provide for my wife or my kids, I kind of go into a depression. The closer I get to the holidays and seeing what finances are like approaching holidays, I just kind of shut down a little bit.
So when you say holidays,
So like Christmas,
holidays when financially you can give to the family.
I want to be able to give my kids equal or more than what I had growing up. Anything and everything you could ever want, from swimming pools to basketball courts to motorcycles and dirt bikes and go-karts and anything that you can possibly want as a kid, I had. Christmas was huge in my household.
Yeah.
That's my favorite time of the year.
What made it your favorite time of the year?
You get to see all your cousins, and it was nothing but love. I'm from a small community from upstate New York, and probably have 40% of the population there is your family. During the holidays, as a family, we all went shopping for each other. There's 8 kids.
Oh my goodness, you're one of 8?
In my household, there's 8 of us. We did a lot of family things that was around shopping.
We were in Saratoga Springs for like a mini vacay. His idea of going out and hanging out as a family was going to the outlet mall. I'm like, I don't want to go to the outlet mall. I want to do something, creative and fun.
Right.
He equates shopping and gifts with family in a very strong way.
The association with the act of buying stuff, the shopping trips or receiving things, it seems like it was associated with quality time with the family. How important were the actual things? Because it seems like the memories to me are so much more important than the stuff you got.
Yeah, it had no importance.
Tell me more about Christmas now with the 3 kids.
So it's more about me trying to keep him at bay.
Yeah.
If it was up to him, he would do a lot more.
Which causes a little
Yeah.
friction
Yes.
sometimes. And I feel like I'm doing a disjustice to my kids by not giving them what I had. So,
And I think it's too much. I think it's excessive.
So how much have you spent in the last year on Amazon alone?
Don't look at me.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
It sounds like you worry regularly enough that you aren't going to have financial security. And there are a lot of people who depend on you financially. How do you reconcile that with if you're on Amazon and you want to buy something, you don't hesitate? Is there some, like, do you have on your shoulder like an angel and a devil that says, no, don't buy it, you need this for financial security, and then, oh, it'd be awesome to have a new lawn mower?
There's these Facebook pages. It was like deals and glitches where like things are like 70% off and 80% off.
No more than $10 deals.
I'll satisfy my fix
Yes.
by ordering something from there, just to make sure I have ordered it.
Okay. And then Haizel, does he buy stuff that costs more, that it arrives in a box and you think, I don't think we needed that. I don't even know what this thing is.
There's definitely things that come in that I have no idea why he purchases them. It's like, you're just going to clutter the house. Like, why are you getting something we don't need?
When do you buy all this stuff? Is it usually like end of the day, you're tired, you're going through it? Or is it first thing in the morning? Oh no, is it like constantly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He gets up in the morning, he gets his phone in his hand, he goes outside to have a cigarette, and while he's outside having a cigarette, he's going through Facebook.
What if once or twice a week, you guys sit down together for like 20 minutes? If you both agreed on this stuff and you just bought it, would you feel like it's still fulfilling, or do you feel like it would just be irritating?
It might still be fulfilling, but we'd have to do it like a few times a day. Some of the deals are only for like 2 hours.
I think that's what it is about I Had It For You. I think it's like the gamble, like the adrenaline rush you get from having to get it then and there.
It could be that.
What if we set up a separate account every month? You guys transfer in a certain dollar amount, whatever it is. Only that dollar amount can be used for Amazon.
No, we can do 100.
No, let's do 250.
Let's do 250.
Okay, you can just set it up automatically. 250 goes in every month. That can be his shopping money. And this way, if he wants to blow a bunch of money, he also can do it without feeling guilty. Or maybe he doesn't feel guilty.
He doesn't.
But this way, he can do it without making you feel like, oh, that's our savings. Every month, 250 will go in, but then you'll see, oh, crap, I only have 50 left. And if you don't have enough, then you don't buy it that week. And you look at it the next week. But the whole idea is so that you can actually have visibility into what you're actually spending.
I spent a lot of money on cigarettes.
A lot of money on cigarettes.
They need to bring the prices down.
Oh gosh, so you need to quit smoking. Well, let's start with Amazon and we'll talk about cigarettes later.
Okay.
And it'll work for cigarettes. It can be small. You can say, you know what, I'm going to smoke one fewer cigarette every day. Just start small. Starting small, that's the only way that sticks.
I mean, I'm going to be 40 soon.
You're past 40, please. Don't even get.
I'm going to be 40 soon.
Oh my goodness.
So, I want to be able to.
You're closer to 50 than anything else right now, my love.
And you guys wonder why I love older women.
Oh, shut it. You're so bad.
The way to create wealth, it's a real simple equation. One, you either need to produce more income, or two, you need to reduce expenses.
Right.
What I would like to challenge you guys on is, coming up with creative ways to increase your income. You guys are already tapping into passive income within the investment world, so that's great. The next step in building that investment plan is understanding what are your short-term investment goals, what are your long-term investment goals. At the end of the day, what do you want to use those investments for, right?
So for us, I think, investing in the market and hoping that things do, play out the way that we would like them to play out, that would definitely give us the freedom to not worry so much about finances.
Basically, the strategy that you guys describe. It's called dollar cost averaging. All right. That's the idea of saying, hey, I'm going to take a set amount each period, whether that period is a week, a month, etc., and I'm going to put that into the stock market via individual stocks or ETFs or mutual funds. It's going to be constant deposits within to these brokerage accounts so that you're taking advantage of compounding interest. Using dollar cost averaging in that manner is really good because number one, you're budgeting for it. So it's not like you're taking money that was meant for something else. Furthermore, diversification reduces risk, right? And the ultimate way to get to that goal, lowest risk, highest return, is to have a diversified portfolio. That's the great thing about having an exchange traded fund as a part of your portfolio, is because you're able to invest in a wide variety of what's available in the market. Have you guys purchased a home before?
No.
That's actually good. You guys would still qualify right now for a first-time home buyers program. Right. That'll enable you guys to purchase a home with as little as 3.5% down payment.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay.
Another key thing is you can basically get two houses at the same time. You can get a duplex using that first-time home buyers program.
Really?
What a duplex will do, obviously, is it'll allow you guys to maybe generate some rental income.
Instead of the two house would be you buy a duplex and live in one and rent the other one out.
If the other side's rent is paying for your mortgage, now you're basically living rent free. Which is going to free up some money in your budget.
I always had big backyards and houses, and so that's just what I wanted for my kids. And you have that idea, right? The American dream. Jerel presented a situation, a duplex to have passive income, which I love the idea of passive income. But it kind of threw me for a spin because I am looking at this house, single family residence for us, and then he presented this to us, and it kind of, wow, I never thought about that.
The premise with the duplex is, you can generate that additional income to really get the house that you really want.
Yeah.
So maybe one challenge that we can have for the next meeting is if you guys can identify 5 potential properties that may be a good candidate to look at for a duplex purchase.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
We've just needed that push to get the ball rolling, like you said, the creative juices, and just something to push us to be it's not this huge daunting task. So thank you.
Yeah.
So the first piece of homework is I want you to find out what you spent in 2019 on Amazon and 2020. Because the first part of organizing your finances is to actually know what your burn rate is to actually know what you're spending. Then for retirement, do you guys save into your company plans? Do you have an IRA? What are you using for your retirement vehicles?
Oh, nothing.
He doesn't have anything. I have both an IRA as well as one that's company driven.
Okay. You're a real estate agent, right, Bruce? So do you get paid through 1099?
Yes.
Can that be Haizel's homework, is set up an IRA at the same custodian where you set up yours?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that'll be Haizel's job. She'll link it to the bank account and you'll set it so that it's automatic. And that way he won't even notice. You won't even notice the money's going in. It's only going one way. What are you going to put it into? Generally, having it in growth mutual funds, indexes, is much better longer term for growth.
Yeah, probably the mutual fund.
Good. Okay. It'll go tax deferred. So you want it to be long-term growth. Generally, you want to avoid classes that are slower growth, like bonds and cash. You want it to be more growth oriented. And I know you're 40 now?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not going to take it out for 30 years. You can start taking it out when you're 59 and a half, but you're not forced to till you're 72. So just assume you're never going to see this money again.
Okay.
And then it'll be a surprise when you actually start to use it. And you still get to spend all of it. You just don't get to spend it now. You just get to spend it later.
You love that part.
Oh, I love that part. That's what she had me for sure.
Is that what she said? Is that really what she said?
Her exact words. I don't
remember that.
You do know I have pornographic memory, so
no.
I do remember everything that she has said. So
I think you mean photographic memory.
Oh, photographic. I'm sorry.
For the kids, I usually have my clients set up a Capital One savings checking. They have one for kids. What if you had all 3 of them set one up now?
I could do that for them.
And then if you have them put the app on their phone, when they save, they get rewarded by seeing their accounts go up. So they work hard, they make more, they save it. And what happens when they go to college is then you just open up a regular Capital One account in their name and it just gets moved over. So they already will have they have a good savings amount, a good nest egg when they start. Starting early, that's one of the biggest drivers for being financially successful. And so I have to give you huge, huge props because you started at 529 when he was 2 years old. And now he's 17. I mean, that's a lot. A lot of it's probably appreciation and dividends, and it compounds and it's tax-free. So that's fantastic. A lot of people start way too late. They start when someone's 16 or 17. So you should feel pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
So you have your homework. So when you're adding stuff to your Amazon list and you want to buy it, just imagine Adrian nagging you and saying, I know you want this money later to be able to give things to the kids and the family. Do you really need this? And I would be nagging you.
Yeah. All right. I think I can do this. I'm actually excited.
I mean, I can see what your values are, right? The whole idea with money is that money is supposed to support us. It's supposed to support you guys. Money is supposed to support your values and what makes you happy. And so talking through this, a big part of planning is knowing what are those objectives, what actually makes you happy, and then aligning it with everyday activity.
She was fun. I like her.
Yeah. She wasn't afraid to laugh. She wasn't afraid to smile. And
At your jokes especially.
yeah. She's pleasant. She's polite. And she's believable. So she had me there.
So
how are you two feeling overall about your finances?
Anxious.
Every day that goes by that we don't do anything with the money we have saved makes my stomach hurt.
I kind of feel like a little dumb because we don't know what to do with it, and we're paralyzed by the inability to make a decision with it.
I am nervous about what she's going to say about our Postmates bill. It's going to be a tough conversation, but we're willing to go there.
I just decided to jump in, invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and then it completely tanked.
I want you to focus on your income. Your biggest asset is you and your capability of increasing your income. I have high expectations, so don't disappoint me.
We won't.
A lot of pressure.